G'day geeks, my name is Chris, and in this video I'm going to show you all of the stuff that I bought at the most recent Nexus Toy Fair. So Nexus, you've heard me speak about a few times on this channel before. It's a toy fair that is held every 3 months here in Perth, Western Australia. This was the one that was on Saturday the 12th of April. The next one is in July, the 12th of July actually. And yeah, it's basically if you're interested in comics or Pokemon cards are very popular. Harry Potter, Lego, and Star Wars always very popular. Vintage and modern video games, and vintage and modern action figures as well. And that's pretty much what I'm interested in. So I didn't really look at the comics this time, but I did pick up a few interesting action figures. So that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So I do encourage you to go down to Nexus Toy Fair at least once if you've never been. All the details are in the link below. And yes, this is all the stuff that I picked up at the latest Nexus Toy Fair. Let's check it out. Before I get to the cool toys, I went and saw a cool musical. I saw the Lord of the Rings musical at in Perth recently with my Dungeons and Dragons crew. It was a good time out. I'm not a huge musical guy, and they did their best to condense the 3 books and films into a 3-hour show with an intermission. And yeah, it was good. The costumes, the lighting, set design, all of that cool stuff was very, very cool and impressive. The songs weren't particularly memorable necessarily, but it was good to see some folksy kind of songs. Gollum was singing in one of the scenes, which was a bit odd and unintentionally funny, but yes, the actors were amazing and all the costumes and stuff were good. And I picked up a few things. So here's a little cool Hobbit door pin. Getting a bit of a collection of pins actually. A cool cup. Yeah, it's well made actually, and very, very sturdy. And it's got an interesting, got a greeting, blessing that the hobbits say to each other. So there's a quote from that. Don't know if that's from the book, but anyway. And yeah, picked up the program as well, which is pretty cool. And it just tells you about the Australian cast, and it's got some photos and stuff from the actual show. And yeah, it was a good time for sure. And yeah, they did pretty well, as I say. I mean, it's not like huge battles with orcs and goblins and whatever running around everywhere, but they certainly did their best to get the spectacle across. So yes, there's the Lord of the Rings musical, so I do recommend seeing it in a town near you. Now, onto the toys. As you can see, it's a pretty eclectic mix, but I've been on a bit of a obscure 1990s action figure kind of focus lately. So I don't know if I'll unbox any of these, to be honest, because the packaging is quite good on all of them, surprisingly, depending. Some of these are like 30 years old. But yes, let's talk about all of these awesome figures individually and discuss what I got at Nexus Toy Fair. This is the first thing I saw and picked up. So I've been chasing this particular figure for quite some time. It's one of those kind of bendy figures, and you may be scratching your head thinking, who the heck is this? This is Colonel K from the Danger Mouse animated series, which ran from 1981 to 1992, so quite a long time. A British animated kind of spy spoof starring Danger Mouse, and I do have a kind of Funko Pop kind of thing of him. There was a few years ago some Danger Mouse newish action figures as well, which I would like to get, but haven't seen them pop up very often. But this is one that I had as a kid. So this is basically Danger Mouse's boss, the one who gives him his orders. And I specifically remember having this little bendy figure as a kid. Need to give him a bit of a clean, but as you can see, he's one of those bendy figures. He's got the little, the dots everywhere to show you that he's got the wire. And Colonel K, yeah, he's one of those, the man in charge who gives Danger Mouse his orders and frustrates him and stuff. So yes, certainly a flashback when I saw this figure. It wasn't cheap. I think this was $50, but I was like, I haven't seen it on eBay or anywhere else, marketplace, nowhere, and certainly worth the nostalgia. So this is all the way in from 1981, I think. So yes, 1981. So yes, very happy to add Colonel K from the Danger Mouse animated series to my shelf for the first pickup from Nexus Toy Fair. The next thing I picked up was this Mummies Alive figure from a good friend, Ryan the Collector Kid. Definitely give him a follow as well. So Mummies Alive was an obscure TV animated series, and from the 90s and late 90s, and I don't remember this or anything at all growing up, but this came to my attention after watching the wonderful show Toy Galaxy, or Secret Galaxy as it's now known, and I'll put a link to that episode down below. But yes, Mummies Alive is basically what it sounds like. What if mummies were good guides? So it's very Egyptian themed. I believe it was inspired by one of the producers, his kids who got so excited going to a museum in the 90s and talking about the mummies on the way home and stuff. And you think you had like Stargate movie and the TV series kind of around this time as well. So yes, a very kind of obscure toy line. This guy is called a Jackal, and he's got one of those kind of classic fright features where you push his arm down and he shows his mouth, very much like the Ghostbusters as well. Oh, how I miss the expanded universe from Star Wars. So in between the Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace, late 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of Star Wars comics and video games and novels, which consisted of which make up the expanded universe, so not canon necessarily, but although the latest films are kind of pulling in elements from the expanded universe. But yes, this is a Kyle Katarn figure. He was first seen, I believe, in the Dark Forces video game, Star Wars video game from 1995. I've got a Luke Skywalker, also expanded universe, in similar packaging. So it was only $12, but he looks good with the green background of the Darth Vader head and the not flattering portrait from the video game. But yes, happy to add Kyle Katarn complete. So he's got a couple of weapons and his cool looking beard. And again, you can see all the different figures that are available in this line. And I like these figures. They're cheap, relatively accessible, and as you can tell, the back, you can kind of, the card is a bit thicker. You can cut it along and make a little bit of a backdrop for your figures, which is pretty cool. Modern figures don't really do that anymore. And yeah, I kind of miss the artwork and the cross-sell selling all the other features. So yes, the Canada days were certainly good days for action figure packaging. So yes, another one to add to my Star Wars shelf. So Kyle Katarn from Kenner, from the Star Wars Expanded Universe line of action figures. Who remembers Wild Wild West? So it was a 1999 flop, basically. It was based on a TV series from the 60s, loosely based, starring Will Smith, Kevin Kline, and Salma Hayek, and Kenneth Branagh as well. And so this I got from the same vendor that sold me the Danger Mouse Colonel K figure, and this certainly fits in the bill with my theme recently of obscure 90s figures. So this is Artemis Gordon with hidden message shell, and I do like collecting these figures in package rather than loose, because you see all the other figures and vehicles from the line. Again, you don't see these very often. It's not a great film. It definitely was a flop. Will Smith recorded a song as well, Wild Wild West, if you remember that song. I think it got the Golden Raspberry for Worst Movie Song that year. And filmmaker Kevin Smith, Clerks, Chasing Amy Moratz, he did a very interesting speech at the time when he talked about his Superman Lives script, talking about Wild Wild West and the giant spider. I definitely encourage watching that. He's a great storyteller and very honest about the way Hollywood works. But yes, I'll keep this in packet. This was only, I think, $20-25, and it comes with a bunch of cool accessories. And the 90s figures aren't very posable. It's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 POA, points of articulation, by the looks of it. But yes, this is certainly a snapshot in time of a rather average looking action figure from a rather average looking film. I won't get any more of the figures from this line, but there we go. There's Wild Wild West from 1999. I've also been on a bit of a Hanna-Barbera kick as well lately, so I picked up this awesome Alex Toth art book from Stefan's Books last Christmas, and flicking through that, and so that kind of 60s style has really got me interested in the kind of properties of that era. So a lot of Super Friends and 60s, 70s, 80s, and their Herculoids, all that kind of Hanna-Barbera stuff. Johnny Quest certainly fits that mold. So it was a TV series in the 60s, an animated series, and it's had revivals in the 80s and 90s as well. It's kind of still with us in some form. DC Comics recently used the characters in a bit of a crossover. So this is a big chunky action figure. This is from McFarlane Figures from 2006, and they did a whole bunch of other figures in this line as well, which are pretty awesome, all based on similar cartoons of the era. So Captain Caveman, Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, etc. So this is again a pre-posed kind of diorama, really, so it's not really articulated. And you've got Johnny Quest, his dog, and he's battling some kind of pterodactyl, and he's got a stalagmite and a dagger ready in hand to defeat the winged foe. So yeah, it looks pretty awesome, just as it is, and it's a chunky box. This is from Series 2 of McFarlane Toys Hanna-Barbera line, and yeah, I like it. McFarlane don't really do kind of stuff like this now. They're all about Spawn and DC and that kind of stuff, but it'd be good if they can go back to the days of making more obscure figures like this. So it's a very simple kind of looking figure, but certainly the aesthetic of the cartoon. It's definitely on brand and on model with the character. So I'm looking forward to whacking this on my shelf. Johnny Quest from the 60s, and here's the figure from McFarlane Toys. This was only $10. Talking about obscure, they had I think the whole set of this. This is from a company called Canadu. I don't know, never heard of them, but it looks like it's also from a company called Dragon, and these are historical figures, so 1/24 scale. This is from the Greek mythology, the Trojan War. Probably be familiar with Troy, the film Troy, starring Orlando Bloom, which he played this character, Paris, and Eric Bana and Brad Pitt. Troy from 2004. I remember I watched that with my friends on the Gold Coast when I was living there at the time. So yeah, these are kind of non-articulated figures, all about the Trojan War, which is pretty interesting. So as you can see there, they've got Helen of Troy, Agamemnon, Menelaus, Paris, and yeah, a little base that they all conform together. So yes, very interesting. I guess this could probably go with my kind of fantasy D&D kind of shelf. So certainly obscure. The Trojan War, and this is Paris, with his sword and his shield and his lovely tunic, ready for action. So there you have it, some great pickups from the Nexus Toy Fair, and as always, one of the awesome things about Nexus is just talking to people, and always have wonderful conversations and make new friends and all that kind of thing. So yeah, the next one is in May 25, so this is on a Sunday, so it's not the Nexus, but it's the kind of related quarterly fair as well, so that's up north, so in Joondalup, also here in WA. And the next Nexus is on Saturday the 12th of July, so a couple of different options there if you're interested in retro vintage kind of goodness. So thank you for watching, thumbs up and all that kind of stuff if you feel so inclined. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I'll catch you at the next video. Goodbye, geeks.